Welcome to Ron's Basement. We have a special guest today. All the way from Holland, our friend Vincent is joining us here in the basement. And what makes him unique about being a UFD duster are a couple things. Number one, he's from Holland. We've spread all around the world. Number two, he's about the same age as me and almost boomer. And number three, he's a previous silver and gold, still a silver and gold investor who was, I guess, introduced to Ron's Basement through the Silver and Gold channel. And we're here today to talk about his journey, what he's doing here in St. Louis, and why he's part of UFD. Vincent, welcome to Ron's Basement.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here, Ron. It's really a special Sunday today.
Well, we're pleased to have you. Like I said, it's very unique. You're from Europe. You're about my age. You're a silver and gold guy. I just want to ask you, what got you, I guess, interested in unicorn fart dust?
Yeah, let's give it a start, Ron. Actually, the last 1.5 years, I have been listening daily to your silver podcasts.
I apologize for that.
But actually, I learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
And since then, I'm actually really interested in once in a while buying some gold and silver coins. And then somewhere in December, mid-December, you started talking about meme coins and unicorn fart dust. And to be honest, I switched off in the beginning. But because I really, really trusted you as a silver expert, and I learned so much from you, and you showed up every day in your silver podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, around Christmas, I bought with my first $100. I bought my first around 1,000 unicorn fart dust meme coins.
You became a duster at that point, correct?
Yeah, I became a duster. Maybe some people call me a boomer, but technically I'm not a boomer, I think. But I had a lot of technical issues buying those first 1,000 beans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's a big opportunity for UFD as we move forward. Like, we've accomplished what we've accomplished without yet being listed on a tier 1 exchange, which will make it easier for people, maybe even people who are a little older like you and I. But to think of the ease at which in the future people will be able to buy UFD, I think it'll open up a whole new market of potential buttercups turning into dusters and diamond hoof dusters as well.
Yeah, I think so. And actually, after Christmas, I started buying and eating a bit of more beans. And actually, I took some beans with me from the airport. And maybe I think you are calling me now a narwhal because I have around 250,000 of those beans nowadays. But I've experienced the good, but also the kind of the bad days in the UFD.
Yeah, we don't call our whales whales. We call them narwhals because, as you can see, the narwhal is the unicorn of the sea, is what they refer to him. So, and we have a boy here. It's been confirmed. So, yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I know for a lot of the silver and gold people, I was a silver and gold person up until December 16th. I knew what a meme coin was, but I didn't really understand what the value was or why there was any value in meme coins. And I went through kind of a transformation as I learned and kind of learned about the community aspect. Did you experience that same thing? I mean, what are your thoughts in that regard?
Well, what I've learned in the last weeks, and we are only existing for, 12 weeks?
12 weeks.
Something like that. That the community gives me a lot of learning, a lot of positive conversations, but it also gives me a lot of fun to connect with many of the people on crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
So actually, next to my busy work, I in the evenings I spend some time on the crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
Engaging and learning from all of you dusters. and try to support each other and convey the message of good attracts good.
Good attracts good. Yeah, that was really what was the major transformational experience for me. You know, I created this literally sitting right over there. Vincent's down here so he can see. And I had no idea, you know, I knew what meme coins were, but I had no idea of the community aspect of it. And very early in the process, maybe the second, third day, it really started to sink in for me that this community behind Unicorn Fart Dust and some of the other meme coins as well, that creates a lot of value. You know, this relationship that people have, a shared belief system, a sense of belonging, and like you said, fun, right? I mean, I think good attracts good is the foundation of Unicorn Fart Dust, but then there's a lot of fun that goes on as well. I mean, a lot of people having a lot of fun with this, definitely.
Absolutely, Ron. And I think what I've learned in the last days is that UFD is truly unique and rare.
Yeah.
And I think the power of UFD is indeed in the community.
Yeah.
But I think we all can also learn from the fact that a lot of the other meme coins were more or less a bit of pump and dump coins, not with the same fantastic values as UFD. And what we are currently seeing in the market, I think, is that in the silver videos, you always talked about the Exter pyramid. But what I see is that a lot of other investors are dumping their I call them the bad meme coins,
right? Yeah,
and they are rotating into UFD because people start to recognize our values and your values. Ron.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top, and you know, I've said this many times now, but 2 Sundays ago, right now, I was sitting here talking to Susie's older brother, who's a very successful financial services professional. And I was telling him I was frustrated with what was going on in the meme coin sector. It was right after, I think the Libra token was 2 weeks ago, and that whole scandal had broken. And he said, you know, the crazier, the scummier that some of these people get, the better that UFD looks. And, you know, just keep doing the right thing, keep up with those foundational principles that we have of honesty, integrity, and prosperity and transparency, and you know, that will be good. And it really feels like to me in the last 2 to 3 weeks that there has been a big shift within the meme coin world, more of a focus on quality. And you know, it feels like to me that UFD is positioned well to capitalize on that. And it's so simple. It's just real easy, to be honest. It's real easy to have integrity. You know, to me, it's the simpler way to do things, and it's the good way to do things. Doing good, you know, just following a good moral code is a lot more enjoyable, and I don't know, to me, a lot easier to do.
Yeah, and I think, Ron, this is about also longer term.
Yeah.
A lot of the other meme coins are...
I love him.
Thank you. But they are really about the weekly dump and pump. And we are here to stay on the longer term. And if I am honest, I stepped into UFD because of you, because you show up every day. But I also trust your story of good attracts good and being good in the community. And I think in the end that delivers the value of UFD, and that we really can move to what some people call a generational wealth. Today, I shook hands with your beautiful daughters. I have 2 sons at home. But my secret idea is that in the future with my UFD beans, I want to support my boys buying a house, which is extremely difficult currently in Europe.
Yeah, you know, I sat down here very early in the UFD journey and said all along to everybody, I want this to be a long-term, I used to say a long-term flight. I want it to be a long-term deal. And I know that, yeah, a lot of the other coins, not all of them, but most of them were very short-term oriented, pump and dump type situations. And I just got so excited about the prospect of this being a long-term journey, in the idea that as the community continued to foster itself and to grow and to kind of take on a life of its own, which it's doing right now, that it could create a very lucrative situation for the people that are got in early. And I right now still think it's early. There's a guy named Sath who's become very educational for me personally. And he said this a week ago. He talked about these pump and dump coins a lot of times would have secret dinners and meetings, and where people would be given coins and given the opportunity to buy in early before they launched, and then they would launch, and then they would do the rug pull. Like that's what we're doing right now. I mean, we're so different in terms of how the whole coin was created, that this period that we're in right now is kind of the funding period for UFD. And I can't emphasize enough, like, I believe this is going to be a long-term journey. I believe that every single day we have more, every day that goes by, we have more and more and more long-term holders, people like you and me, and it's not just because we're older, but a lot of the older people, 45, 50, 68, 70, 80s, that I'm like, we're more long-term oriented, right? And a lot of our younger people are too. We love every age group everywhere, but I do believe it's a long-term journey. And in a minute here, I'm going to have you put a couple of your beans for all of our friends in Europe into the jug, but I've talked too much. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you talked about the beans, and Ron, and maybe you can show to the viewers the bean in Chicago. I love Chicago, and by the way, now I also love St. Louis because I spent 2 days in St. Louis. But for me, this big bean in Chicago visualizes how these beans can.
They're seeing the bean on the screen right now. That's what they're seeing.
Did you share the right screen now?
Yeah,
because sometimes you have a bit difficulty sharing the right screen.
Yeah, we'll check with Susie, but no, right now they're seeing the giant bean in Chicago. Yes.
Yeah, but really on a serious note, Ron, these small beans, what is the value now of US UFD? That's about 60 or 70. But imagine if they would grow as big as that bean in Chicago.
I never thought about that, Vincent. Yeah, and this is what the viewers see. So guys, that bean up there, that's on the screen. What if our beans grew as big as the giant bean in Chicago?
Yeah, and the powerful thing of the bean in Chicago is that it attracts a lot of people.
Yes.
When you go there, there's a lot of people interested in this big bean, and for me, that is the same like UFD. We attract a lot of new dusters, hopefully, and we can. Next to growing the bean, this is about growing the community, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. That's an interesting perspective on the bean in Chicago, because it does attract a lot of attention. I know, just from over the last, I think it's been there about 20 years at this point. I went to college in Chicago and the bean wasn't there yet. It was a subsequent to when I moved back to St. Louis. And it seems like I'm always seeing pictures of the giant bean in Chicago. And at some point, we'll have a big UFD get together in Chicago when our bean is that big, because it can happen, definitely.
Actually, I think we should go there earlier, Ron, because I've seen on the crypto Twitter that the Duster car is almost ready to go.
Yeah.
And I feel it's a fantastic opportunity if we could get the Duster car driving to the bean in Chicago.
Yeah.
and you farting the good news of UFD.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can see the bean with the reflection of the duster in it, and we even have one of our critical community members who does a lot for UFD. It's funny. Long before UFD was even created, her screen name is The Bean. So these beans are popping up everywhere. What about in St. Louis? You discovered some interesting unicorn related. I'm going to go out to your. Let me pull up. Bear with me just 1 second.
Yeah, and maybe I can already start
Yeah,
while
go
you
ahead.
are looking for the screen. So I had the opportunity to visit the Arch yesterday in St. Louis, and that was a fantastic experience. And for me, the Arch symbolizes the unlimited potential of UFD.
Mm-hmm.
But on the serious note, this morning when I stepped out of the hotel, I walked a few blocks around the city center. And then I arrived at the Soldier Memorial Museum, and you probably know more about it. But actually outside, and Ron is sharing this on the screen now, there is 4 unicorns, and the unicorns are called Vision.
There's Vision.
There's Vision, Courage.
Wow, that is wild. That is up, and then what are the other ones? I think there's only 2 pictures here, but let me go back to this one and just here. You know what? I can draw on the screen, Vincent, temporarily. Look at that, guys. That would be a unicorn wing.
Yeah, it is, and I was so happy to find those unicorns. But it also kept me a bit silent, Ron, as respect for the soldiers and the history and the values those soldiers and the courage they had in to support Europe in the World War One.
Yeah. And I think when we think about UFD, and I'd be interested to get your perspective on this, that what we're doing takes some courage as well, because all the people out there, the viewer who's joining us right now, that's a duster, what we're doing within the meme coin sector is a little bit different, right? This is a 100% community driven project. Has been from day one, right? I was joked around with you earlier. I didn't plan this. Everyone knows the story behind it. I did create it, and I took full responsibility for what I did, and I've continued to take full responsibility, and I love it. I wouldn't trade this for the world, but it's taken the courage of a lot of people. People that have joined our community, people who've been willing to do all types of things, artwork, work on all types of projects, the website, giveaways. I mean, we have a DJ that did a great thing last night, that it's taken a lot of courage from a lot of people to kind of get us to where we are now and where we're heading in the future as well.
Yeah, I agree, Ron. And in the car to the basement, I had to charge my car. And actually, I did see the video this morning live in the car. And I also did, of course, see the price of unicorn enormously going up. And holding UFD today doesn't take a lot of courage. Actually, a few weeks ago, holding UFD took a lot of courage and conviction and maybe sacrifices.
Yeah.
And to be honest, today I'm smiling. A few weeks ago, maybe I didn't feel as good as today. And actually, I feel that is conviction and really believing long term in UFD.
But and I want to add to that, yes, the whole meme coin sector went through a very difficult period. Our token price went down really low. But what I experienced during that period, which was more encouraging to me than anything, is that the community continued to strengthen. Through a period of adversity, the community continued to strengthen. I could feel it, like the community was being forged, galvanized, mobilized. Nobody sent me, and I want to say this because I'm to you and everybody, no one sent me a mean message or a mean email saying, oh my gosh, I lost money or I'm down or whatever. Nobody did. What I did get were hundreds of encouraging messages from people saying, keep up the good work, keep it up. And, I had Luca Netz, the founder, or the CEO of Pudgy Penguins on about a week and a half ago, right in the midst of all that. And he said, like, these are actually good times for us because during these periods, this is when real communities are formed. Real strength is created within communities, and the fact that our number of holders stayed constant during that period, while there were just masses of people temporarily leaving the meme coin sector, to me was actually a big win. In real terms, I thought we did very well. So.
Yeah, and to your point, Ron, in the first weeks, the price did go up very fast.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
After my February ski, it went down. But what you now see is that the price of UFD goes slowly up. And in your silver podcast, you always said, what goes up fast goes down fast.
Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
And to be honest, today, I'm really convinced that the slow speed we are seeing now compared to the fast speed we had in around the Christmas.
Yeah.
That tells me that we have now dusters in our community who are really the diamond hoofed dusters. And so for me, the gradually going up of our price or value is really good.
It's good. No, look, it's a law of nature. Anything that goes up real fast usually comes down real fast. And we were early. We were young. I mean, we're still young. We're 12 weeks old as you and I are recording this video. So to me, as painful as it was, and I didn't want it to happen, right? Going straight up, what do they call them? Unicorn candles or God candles, big green candles. That's great. That's exciting. But the reality is the other side of that coin is that you usually come back down. So while I expected it, I didn't enjoy it. I don't think anyone would say they enjoyed it, but I agree with you 100%. Now, unicorn fart dust, and really it's the community. When I say unicorn fart dust, I'm talking about the community, right? Me, you, the person joining us have kind of, I think, proven that we're here to stay. Okay. That we're not just a short-term flash in the pan gambling token that a lot of these others were, that we are like a steady force, that we're special, we're unique, and that we will have consistent, steady growth. Because, Vincent, there's only 999 million beans in the jug, and I'm going to go get up and get the jug because I'm going to have you put a few in there for you because you're diamond hooved, I believe, but also for some of our friends in Europe. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and actually we did do a pre-taste of the beans, and they really taste fantastic.
Yeah. So, guys, don't forget, right? Here, I'll cover myself up. This is the most important thing, right? This what Vincent's about ready to do is the most important thing. Go ahead, Vincent. Dump them in there.
Yeah, I throw in one of me, and also I know there's 2 or 3 other really good dusters in the Netherlands, so I add them for them as well.
Listen. All right, that's the sound of money. Ching ching. Yeah.
And the other jelly beans are for the daughters of Ron.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. I have a horrible sweet tooth, so every once in a while I dip my hands into that jug, but I always replace any beans that I take. So
Hey, Ron, I have a favor to ask.
Sure,
and that is.
You want me to sing?
Yeah, no. You talked about unicorn Vardus is here to stay, and for me, I really feel like Bitcoin is the gold in crypto. Silver is the UFD is the silver of meme.
Yeah.
And when you talk about UFD is there to stay, in your silver podcast, you always talked about the Exter pyramid, because people want to keep the strong crypto. They want to keep the strong meme coins, like people ultimately do not want to spend their gold and silver. Can you elaborate maybe a bit more how you see the Exter pyramid potentially could be used in meme as well?
Yeah, well, Exter's, there was a guy named John Exter who worked for the New York Federal Reserve Bank, who had a thesis that, and this was maybe 30, 40 years ago, that that all the world's monetary system rested, it was like an upside down pyramid. Here, I'll show you the picture, and that it rested on a base of gold and silver. Let me pull it up on full screen so I can see it a little better. Okay. Gold and silver. And that everything above that was basically unicorn fart dust, right? Paper money, base money, bank money, government bonds, corporate bonds, non-monetary commodities, derivatives. This particular version of the Exter's pyramid, although I don't think John Exter's original version had crypto, I don't think cryptocurrency existed at the time, puts crypto on there. So the idea is, and the argument that's made is that, and like derivatives are quadrillions of dollars, that everything is based upon gold and silver, and that bad money, government, we know all the government debt. We know the U.S. government has $36 trillion in debt. We know that there's been money, bank money, base money that's been printed, paper money into infinity, and these derivatives are, it's unbelievable how big the derivative balances are, that just a little bit of that the bad money eventually over time, and this has been repeated many hundreds of times over history, always goes back to gold and silver. Now, I would give the argument that that we could put other finite assets down here, things like land, things like even artwork, and things that are finite in nature that are from the cryptocurrency world, like unicorn fart dust. Okay, that eventually all of this up here is kind of make believe. I mean, it really is. It's fantasy land money. And if you'd asked me this question 14 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, crypto's included in that as well. Although now that I have a different perspective on cryptos, in particular ones like Bitcoin and unicorn fart dust that are finite in nature. I know there's still Bitcoin that's being mined, but there's a limit, and I don't know the specifics, how many more years, and it's very limited, the additional Bitcoin that's being created. It's kind of like gold. There's so much gold and silver in the world, and every year there's a little bit more added through mining perspectives. But yeah, eventually everything comes back to assets that are finite in nature, and then there's this relationship between gold and silver, which I think is, a lot of people are telling me that unicorn fart dust, and I believe this. I'm championing this as well. That UFD is almost like a baby Bitcoin, and that there's a similar-ish relationship that you see between gold and silver. There's also a similar relationship between Bitcoin and in UFD, or that will develop more over time.
Yeah, and I think like gold and silver have their own usage.
Mhm.
Probably
Yeah.
that holds true in Bitcoin and UFD as well.
Yeah.
And of course, we see sometimes when the Bitcoin price goes up, unicorn fart dust also goes up.
Yeah.
Like there is the relation in between gold and silver. There is a relation in between UFD and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But we are independent, and
Mhm.
the last weeks I have started to follow, like I am a precious metal investor.
Mhm.
I have some gold and silver coins, and I look to the gold silver ratio.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Because I feel silver is currently damn cheap.
Yeah.
And then in the future, I potentially can rotate some of those silver coins into gold,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Right.
And I think the same holds true for the in between the relation, the gold Bitcoin and
Yeah.
the silver UFD. I feel UFD is currently damn cheap.
Yeah.
And we only started 12 weeks. So if you look to the ratio chart in between Bitcoin and UFD,
Mhm.
the chart is only existing for
Right.
12 weeks,
Right.
while gold and silver ratio is existing already for thousands of years.
Right.
But
Yeah.
still, I feel
Yeah, it's almost the exact I mean, and it's interesting, but it's very like the time frames are vastly different, but there is that relationship.
Yeah, and I feel some people on crypto Twitter are talking about, is the alt season going to start, and then they look to the ratio of meme versus Bitcoin. And Ron, I'm extremely positive.
Yeah.
I feel with a joke that it's not the alt season which is going to start, but I really feel the UFD 25 season is going to start soon.
Yeah. Yeah. You brought up a great point I want to touch on, and that is which I firmly believe in as well, that as UFD's community and as the token price continues to, in my opinion, improve over time, that we could move into even more, and I think we've seen it already happening, into more of a position where we're more insulated from what's going on in the crypto world and even the financial world, that we have this unique opportunity because of how decentralized we are, how democratized we are, that we can almost create our own microcosm of value. And that's going to be driven by the community continuing to do what it's already doing. I mean, the community is taking on a life of its own. And there's no reason why we can't. I want to bring up an important part. The Mr. Armstrong, I believe his last name is, who's the CEO of Coinbase, recently pointed out the fact that the US dollar, right? And I love the US dollar, right? I grew up here, is basically a meme coin at this point. And he also said that Bitcoin is basically a meme coin. And I've also heard some of the smartest people in the crypto world point out that a lot of these altcoins and utility coins that are pushed out by these big, project teams and VC teams that are going to have all these great uses and all that, that the reality is that 95% of them never are able to deliver on the promises that they give when they're pushed out at such high prices, and that they eventually just become meme coins. So I think that, I'm very optimistic as well. I've talked too much. So.
Hey, can you show us the Lego train you used in the past, actually, to
Yeah, I'll go grab that. I'll be right back.
To explain the relation actually in between gold and silver, because you showed in your silver podcast that there is an elastic band in between gold and silver.
Yeah.
And like there is an elastic band in between gold and silver, we could argue maybe there's also an elastic band in between the Bitcoin, the gold Bitcoin, and the silver UFD.
All right. So I will explain this with my childhood Tonka truck and my childhood Stopper.
It was Tonka instead of Lego. I thought
Thought it was,
Stomper.
It's a Stomper. But in what Vincent is referring to is what's referred to as the gold to silver ratio, which for thousands of years has measured how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. So you take the gold price, which currently is about $2,800, $2,900, and you would divide it by the silver price, which, for example purposes, we'll say gold's 3,000 for example purposes, and silver's $30. That would mean that to get 1 ounce of gold, it would take 100 ounces of silver. That is historically very long. So I'm going to scoot over here. So that means, and this is a giant red rubber band. That means the gold price, you pull the gold price over here, okay, and the silver price is back here. There's a lot of tension on this rubber band, right? That's a historically very, very big ratio that it would take you 100 ounces of silver, 90, I think roughly is what it actually is, or 88 right now, to get 1 ounce of gold. That when that corrects, it usually corrects in what they call like a boomerang fashion. So all that tension is let free and the silver price really flies. And I think what you're also referring to is we compare, if you think of the gold, instead of this being the gold truck, this is Bitcoin, which a lot of people like to refer to as digital gold. And let's say that the Stopper, who I think I can turn on temporarily. There it is. There's us. The little UFD, right? That ratio, let me turn that off. That is UFD, or other cryptos as well that are going to do well. That as that ratio stretches out, as Bitcoin goes higher, that it will pull meme coins like UFD along. And you can even think of this as Solana to a certain degree. But eventually, right, with our because we are undervalued right now, in my opinion, that when the market does correct itself, that UFD could really catapult as well. Did I do okay with my description?
It's fantastic. And the way how you explain this, Ron, is very powerful. And then people start to understand maybe a complex topic like the gold-silver ratio or the Bitcoin-UFD ratio. But I think it is important for all dusters to understand that concept. And I indeed feel that the tension is currently building up, and we might have a big rocket, hopefully a catapult launching soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thanks for showing this, and I'm really proud to have touched the Tonka car.
The Tonka car, yeah, the Tonka car, and it has a trailer and has a bulldozer back here as well that we'll have to incorporate at some point in the future.
Do you actually know, is Tonka, is that a Swedish brand or not?
I don't know. I think Tonka is a Swedish brand. I'll have to look that up. Yeah.
We didn't talk yet, Ron, about what we have in common. I am Dutch, and I also understood that you have a Dutch background.
Yep, I do. My great-grandfather was a Dutchman who fought in the Boer War in South Africa, and then came to St. Louis for the 1904 World's Fair because there was a Boer War exhibition, and stayed here. And that's how I wound up. That's on my mom's side of the family. And then, interestingly, the Boer War was fought over gold in South Africa. Has massive amounts of gold. And, there are so many similarities between cryptocurrency and precious metals. I said that long ago on my gold and silver channel, that like gold and silver investors and crypto investors are like really see the world through the same eyes, right? The idea behind fiat money, and there's some of them like you, like me, that appreciate both. There's some gold and silver investors that just absolutely want nothing to do with crypto. I think what's interesting, though, that I've learned in the last 12 weeks is the crypto community is much more open and even interested in a lot of ways into learning about precious metals as well. That was something that really surprised me, because coming from the gold and silver community, I would often hear, some people that were very anti-crypto, I guess you would say. And there aren't, on the crypto side, there's just a lot of people who are interested. I always said silver is the original cryptocurrency, because silver was actually money long before gold was used as money.
Yeah, and actually you could say that a lot of silver stackers, they are of course interested in having the ounces, and that is also how they compare with each other. And I also buy once in a while some nice silver coins, but next to only collecting ounces, I also recognize that I like to buy some special silver coins with a nice design, or maybe telling a kind of historic story. And from that perspective, you could almost say that the silver coins are actually a kind of meme, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, here's one here. I'll show the audience real quick. This came from Bullion Betty. I think she has an Etsy shop. There we go. It focused.
Fantastic.
It's a unicorn. This is actually, it's a 1 ounce silver coin. I'll show you the back real quick. I think it's from Ghana, Africa. There's a lot of countries all over the world. That's not going to focus, but let's see if I can read it on there. The Republic of Ghana. And there's a picture of Queen Elizabeth on there, but I don't think it's going to focus for some reason on this back side. There it is. All right. Focused.
Yeah, and like in the silver stores, you build up a kind of a relation with the person who is selling you the silver coins, and the relation is not only about the transaction. Actually, I respect the guy in Delft in the Netherlands, because his extreme knowledge about all of these coins or these memes, and that is really fantastic. And I almost feel like the strength of UFD is that it is not only about a transaction; it is about really the relation we are building, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It's about the common shared beliefs that the UFD community has. It's about the relationships that people form. It's about this right now, because I feel like, I have a relationship with you. It's our friend Sath described it recently to me as like a spider web, where we're all little nodes on the spider web, where we're all connected with each other and part of the same structure, and connected in all different kinds of ways. And people, like I said earlier, contributing artistic talent, verbal talent, music talent, all kinds of talent, right? Charisma talent, like you have, like personality. So yeah, absolutely. And it is real similar, to the precious metals community, but in particular with silver, there's a very strong silver community. I know here in the United States of people that are enthusiastic about silver, and they have relationships, and they, at the end of the day, the only reason silver is valuable, and the only reason gold is valuable, and the only reason unicorn fart dust is valuable is because you have a group of people that agree that it's valuable, a community that agrees that it's valuable. And, we see that, I'll end with this. We see that value. I always ask people, that are skeptical of the value of meme coins. I'll say, well, what's the most valuable thing in your life? Of everything, material things, non-material things. And if I ask you that question, Vincent, I know you have a couple sons, you told me. I would imagine you would say the most valuable thing in your life is your family and your relationships.
Yeah, you really want to fight for that. Huh? You want to fight. You want to be there for your family, and I feel that makes UFD unique. And maybe the last thing I wanted to share with the people watching is the unique strength is that we are so extremely resilient. So today is an easy day to be a duster. A few weeks ago, it was not so easy to be a duster. You have had some days where it was also really not easy to be a duster because all your beans got hacked.
Right. Yeah.
And the whole community brought the beans back.
I sat right here and cried.
But I think the power of UFD is the community strength also in the bad times. Like in a marriage. Marriage is also for a long time.
I've never had any marriage.
and I think the resilience of the UFD community is built on your family name, Ron. I believe your family name is Brandstetter. And Brandstetter means the city or the house rebuilt after the fire. And we have experienced quite some FUD together, FUD together as dusters. And that makes us strong because you can only become stronger when you learn from
adversity,
the adversity and the events. And I think the power of UFD is that we are continuously learning. And even in adverse times, we keep up the smile and be positive on crypto Twitter because we are different there. I connect to crypto Twitter. Why? Because I know there's positive messages on UFD. If we would all be talking about the other coins and then I don't get the energy out of this community. And the UFD dusters give me energy because the art, the memes, the conversations are good and the conversations are positive. And I think that is thanks to the values of UFD, your values. And today I've also learned that those values are really ingrained into your hometown, St. Louis, because we saw those 4 unicorns with the 4 power.
You let out the secret.
Values.
All the dusters are going to come to St. Louis to see the ultimate arch and the 4 secret unicorns. But you got to get a private tour from my friend Vincent here, right?
I hope to come back and see the unicorn far duster car driving around the streets of St. Louis. And as earlier we talked about in this video, I hope to see it actually it's difficult to bring it to Amsterdam, but I really want to see the car around Chicago near this big bean, because every duster deserves that our beans grow to unlimited value, and our community grows unlimited.
Yeah, we really can go. I mean, we have unlimited opportunity. You brought up something that I want to touch on, and that is that that we grow through adversity, and we have had every adversity thrown at us, which I think is a big benefit for UFD. We have wings of steel. I mean, what we've accomplished in these 12 weeks, we're recording this on the 2nd of March, 2025, has really been exceptional and has been done in the face of many, almost, David Gockstein said, they're like, you guys have been hit with everything. Like, we've been hit with everything from hacks to a tough market to you name it. And hey, that's good. I look at that as a good thing, because you mentioned the word fight. I know that the people out there, I know that the dusters and the diamond hooves are like willing to fight for UFD. I'm willing to fight for UFD. Vincent, thank you. Thanks for coming to St. Louis.
It was an honor to be here, Ron. Thank you so much and having me in your house on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks to our viewer for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, MoonPay and Ledger. And we're going to see you next time. We'll have Vincent on next time he comes to St. Louis to visit those 4 unicorns downtown St. Louis. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Go UFD.
Go UFD. Go. Yeah.